Annually, women spend approximately around 374 hours fetching firewood. I mean, that is a lot of time that can be
Wow.
invested
Yeah.
into productive use.
Hello, welcome to another exciting episode of The Green Shift. I'm your host, Comfort Ape Francis, and today we are diving deep into the heart of Africa's clean energy transformation. This episode is titled Powering Change, and we are spotlighting the innovations, leaderships, and systems that are lighting up communities, especially through sustainable gender inclusive solutions. And our guest today is not only leading this transformation, she's redefining what energy access means for women, families, and entire communities across Nigeria and beyond. Joining me today is Chibuzor Mgbeokwere, the founder of SheConsults for ImpactSphere Limited, a consultancy with deep expertise in clean energy transition studies. Chibuzor is a renowned known monitoring, evaluation, research, and learning expert who has led clean energy research and supported development and humanitarian projects across 25 countries, including the US. She currently serves as the national coordinator for Clean Cookstove Initiatives with the Women in Renewable Energy Association. She holds a master's degree in environmental health and is a member of the African Evaluation Association. Chibuzor, welcome to the Green Shift. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, Comfort. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to lend my voice to the movement. Thank you.
Thank you for lending us your expertise. Okay, let's begin with your journey. You've worked across 25 countries, but why clean energy and specifically why cookstoves?
Okay, so for me, my passion stemmed from working with the humanitarian sector, having lived in Northeast Nigeria uh, and working there as well. And this led me to working across 25 countries in West and Northern Africa, as well as the US, from tracking flood in Liberia to improving water access in Niger. One thing is very obvious: climate change is no longer a buzzword. We are living in its realities. And if we do not take actions now, the consequences are going to be there. So to lend my voice in reducing and my expertise in reducing the carbon footprint, I identified one of the SDG goals, which globally we have been having some sort of challenges, achieving this, which is SDG 7, access to affordable and clean energy. You would agree with me that energy is at the center of modern transformation, from job creation to empowerment, just as cited by the World Bank. And then coming down to sub-Saharan Africa, we are not achieving this at all. And so narrowing it down to clean cook, you asked me why clean cooking. Let's talk about the health implications. In Nigeria alone, this is responsible for about 95,000 deaths annually, which about 51,000 are children. And you would agree with me that this is a silent killer. And according to WHO, after malaria and HIV and AIDS, household indoor pollution is the third highest contributor to deaths annually. And then at the center of it is also gender inequality, because women and children are disproportionately affected, because they are mainly the consumers of household energy. So I chose this path because we cannot talk about energy access without addressing this critical contributor of carbon emission, which is cooking with dirty fuels such as firewood and charcoal. And we can also talk about deforestation, because So the thing with this particular SDG is that it's interlinked with, a lot of the SDGs. So I was talking about deforestation. Yes, Nigeria is also ranked one of the highest countries with deforestation rate at 3.7, between 3.5 to 3.7 percent annually. And if we continue down this path, I mean, we would not have anything left for our future generation. So clean cooking access is really at the center of, because it is, when we talk about clean cooking access, it is like using one stone to kill two birds. Because first of all, this people would also have access to clean energy that can be used for, agriculture. It can also be used for, different things. So as well as cooking. So this is really crucial, and I'm glad that it is gaining traction currently. Clean cooking access is gaining traction now, and I'm really glad that we are taking bold steps to addressing this. Thank you.
Indoor air pollution is one of the silent killers, even ranking the third, is something that is very concerning. And SDG 7, like you've mentioned, is actually interlinked to so many things: deforestation, indoor air pollution, death, and it's just a whole lot. And I would say it's really good that clean cooking is gaining a lot of traction right now, and we have people in the space like you who are actually doing something about this. So, as the national coordinator for the Clean Cookstove Initiatives, what are the biggest challenges you've encountered in pushing for clean cooking in Nigeria?
The challenges in Nigeria is a mix of structure, policy, and behavioral change. So just as I said, it's gaining some traction, but we need to do a lot more. So in terms of policy, we have a lot of policies out there, but they are fragmented and often lack coherence. Cohesion rather. And in terms of structure, we have a lot of players in the industry. However, a lot of them work in silos, and we do not have a centralized platform, thereby making make it difficult to track changes and coordination as well. So just as I said, it's a mixture of policies, structure, and behavioral change. So for one of the challenge we've also faced in pushing this is affordability. Even the most affordable clean cook stoves, it's beyond reach for some of our rural community people, because this I think from the survey we recently did, an average of about 40,000 naira. And then when you talk to these community persons about buying these stoves, because of course there has to be like a business model to these innovations, if it is going to be sustainable. They would say, oh, I mean, I need to eat first before talking about using an improved cook stove. So affordability is one of the challenges we are really facing in pushing adoption of clean cook initiatives. And so that is why we need to work in partnership, public and private partnership, to actually develop business models that is sustainable and also affordable for the last mile communities. We've had some distributions of clean cook stove by the government, even some investors, by foreign agencies. But the question is it sustainable? So we need to tackle that issue of affordability for us to really push, the adoption of transitioning into clean cooking. One of the challenges I've also encountered is and is also very crucial, but often neglected, which is women who are the primary users of these initiatives are not, involved in the design. So oftentimes they come up with innovations that, sometimes uh, uh, the women don't find it very easy to use some of these innovations. I remember during the last second Green Summit, Nigerian Women Green Summit, that was hosted by Women in Renewable Energy Association, one of the guest speakers was sharing a story of one of the innovations that was distributed in some communities, and the power, where to power the stove was, I think, behind. And so the users could not figure out how to use this stove, and at the end of the day they just left it there, and um, it was not in use. So I mean, but I'm sure that if these designs, if women were brought into the conversation, they would have lended their voice on how they want these things to be designed. So women are often excluded in these conversations during designing this product. So that is also one challenge that we have faced in pushing clean cooking adoption. And another challenge is funding. Funding. Yeah, there are a lot of bottlenecks in accessing funding. I think I read a report from African Development Bank, I think 2024, that Africa, receives just about 3% of the climate change funding. And we often bear the brunt of this climate change. However, it's just 3% that comes into Africa. So we need funding, to push this, because of course there has to be funding for innovations, for research. We need funding. Women usually don't have access to funding. A report by Money Point says that I think about only 16% of women have access to funding from commercial institutions. So this we need to find a way to work around it, so that women are brought into the conversation, and not just people thinking for us, but brought into the conversations to see how we can move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You shared like a whole lot of challenges. From what I can get, we have issues with policy, women inclusion, collaboration between people that are working in the clean cooking stove session. And, this is a whole lot of problems. Like you said, the report from the African Development Bank, which says Africa gets 3% of the global climate finance. And we bear the grunt of climate change, the impact, a whole lot of things. We are experiencing drought, flooding, different types of food insecurity issues. And you just imagine now, like you said, you bring these stoves to these women, they don't even know how to use it, or they can't even afford it. So they decide to go back to using the firewoods that they are used to, and that is also impacting their lives. It's something that, so many people have to come together, pull the government, pull different stakeholders together to see how we can push for this clean cooking to be affordable, these cook stoves to be affordable to these women. And also, I feel like educating these women on the impact of this indoor pollution and its harm. So many people don't even know it, that using firewood is causing harm to your health. Most of these rural women, they don't know it. They just see it as a fast and easy way to put food on their table. Like you mentioned, they can't even feed themselves, talk less of to buy a cook stove of 40,000 naira because of clean cooking. They really wouldn't even answer. So so a lot of outreach has to be done. Education, sensitization is something that I can see it's actually lacking in this area. So please tell us about the impact so far. How many lives changing? How many lives have changed while switching to clean cooking?
Okay. Statistically, we can't place a figure on that. However, the transitioning or the benefit of transitioning is profound. Talking about the health earlier, I mentioned about the death rate that indoor house pollution causes. So transitioning would obviously reduce the death rate, as well as occurrences of respiratory diseases and burns. So that is one of the advantages of transitioning, and time and economic gains as well. According to Clean Cooking Alliance, I think it says about annually women spend approximately around 374 hours fetching firewood. I mean, that is a lot of time that can be invested into productive use. So yeah, one of the benefits would be, this time saved from cooking, because on an average, cooking with traditional stoves, takes up around 4 hours on a daily basis now, and transitioning to improved cook stove or clean cooking would actually save women about 1 hour and more. So this can be used into, productivity, can be used for other productive use. So this, in turn, would improve our economy, and women are where women stand a better chance. I also mentioned about deforestation. Transitioning to clean cooking would also address the issue of deforestation, where our forests are gradually, depleting. So transitioning would, save our forests and also reduce our carbon footprints, because these carbon emissions, come from burning of, these fuels, these harmful fuels. So this would drastically, yes, reduce our emission rates, as well as job creation. It's going to, create a lot of jobs from, manufacturing of these stoves, because we are all about local empowerment. This is going to create a lot of jobs where our youths can be gainfully employed, even in the repairs of these stoves, talking about electric cooking, even solar installation for cooking. This is going to create a lot of jobs out there. So the impact is going to be profound. I would also like to mention that although although progress is slow, because like in sub-Saharan Africa and in Nigeria as well, we are experiencing a lot of population growth. So this has really impacted in achieving this access problem. But looking at the bright side, I mean, you cannot sweep the impact under the carpet. It is out there. It is very visible, and it will be felt. I'm using the word will because we have not gotten there. We have a lot to do to go there. Just like the National Clean Cook Policy that distributed the different percentages of the different clean cook initiatives that we should have achieved by 2030. Like by 2030, 20% of Nigerians should be using electricity for cooking. However, the current statistics is that just 1% of Nigerians are, using electricity to cook. So you can say that the gap is actually very high, and we have, will I say, 5 years, because the goal is by 2030 to actually achieve this goal. So you would agree with me that we need to double up, yes, to
exactly
in order to achieve this. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, we actually need to double up, because 5 years is a really short time, and the numbers, the difference is quite a lot. Just as a lot of problems comes from indoor pollution and cooking, and how the SDG 7 is interconnected with different things. With your explanation, I can see that the benefits are also enormous. And the good thing with sustainable innovations and initiatives are the amount of jobs it would create and the impact on the environment, not just the environment, on our health itself too. So yeah, I would like to ask, your consultancy, SheConsults for Impact, focuses on clean energy transition research. What does a just transition look like to you?
Okay. So a just transition in simple terms, for us at SheConsults for ImpactSphere Limited, it means that no one is left behind in the energy transition shifts. From the people living in Yola in Adamawa State to the people living in Owerri in Imo State, everybody is involved. Just like the study we recently conducted for modern energy cooking services, where we, you sampled over 450 commercial commercial cooking people who cook commercially across this Nigeria 6 geopolitical zones. We ensured that we captured, I would say, like everybody's voices, because we ensured that this data was gathered across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones. So it was very representative because we wanted to hear, everybody's voices rather. So it is it is energy, it is equity, access for us. Everybody is involved in the move, as well as data inclusion, because some certain groups are often marginalized, in this transition. We want to amplify their voices, so that when we are talking about just transition, it is not that the spotlight is on a certain group of persons. However, it captures the interest of everybody down to the last mile beneficiary. So for us as SheConsults, it is that no one is left behind. We are carrying everybody along. We want to hear everybody's voices, because as much as energy poverty affects me living in an urban city, it also affects the families living in rural and underserved communities in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for sharing, inclusion, equity, carrying everybody along so that just transition doesn't look foreign to other groups and everybody is aware of what just transition is. So, as an MERL expert, what are the most important things we should be measuring when it comes to energy access in Africa?
Okay, so MERL stands for Monitoring, Evaluation, Research, and Learning.
Yeah.
So I'm going to borrow the words of an Oxford scientist, Lord Kelvin. He says that anything you have an idea about that can be measured in numbers, it shows that you have knowledge about it. But anything that cannot be measured, especially in numbers, it means that your knowledge about it is not satisfactory. So pushing for measurements, there are a lot of gaps that needs to be filled for us to achieve a just energy transition. And one of it is gender indicators. Before now, SDG 7 is one of the sustainable goals that did not have dedicated gender indicators in the tracking. But I'm glad recently, I think last week, yes, the United Nations recently launched a policy brief on gender indications for sustainable energy, and that is one big progress that is being made. So Before now, we had, I think, the access to clean fuels and technologies as an indicator, and by proxy. It is not actually an indicator, it's just by proxy, measuring, gender. So this is one indicator that needs to be looked out for, in improving access to energy. Another indicator is not just we also need to measure the impacts, because oftentimes we are invested in, okay, the numbers of, stoves that were distributed, but we want to know, the prolonged use of these stoves. How is it, affecting or impacting the lives of, the people?
Yes.
So these are I would call it impact evaluations. We need to really look out for impact evaluations, not just the numbers. We want to measure the behavioral change. If you recall, I mentioned that this is one of the challenges, we are facing in pushing for clean energy access, behavioral change. So we need to, these are some of the things we need to really measure, because beyond the numbers, how are how is it impacting the lives? How are we? Because when there is a behavioral change, there is a ripple effect. It has improved my life. I can, talk to my neighbor. The work is even greatly reduced. So these are some of the indicators we need to look out for in transitioning to clean cooking. It has to go beyond the numbers. We need to look at the impact. Thank you.
I definitely agree with you on the behavioral indicator that you've mentioned. It's normal, even in businesses. If you use something that was good, you would definitely recommend to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So if we could measure this impact and not just talk about the numbers and the expected outcome, if we could have numbers like you have said, it would be great. And I would say, finally, what message would you share with other women and young professionals hoping to enter the clean energy space?
Okay. Yes. I think in just 2 words, step in boldly. There is no right time. The right time is actually now. I'm glad that women are taking the center stage. We are not just waiting for us to be called upon. We are we are pushing the narrative, and I'm really glad that we are doing so. So we need your expertise, we need your innovation, we need your skills. So, and if we cannot reach out to you if you don't start doing something. So be bold and step into the space. Like I mentioned, the last summits the Women in Renewable Energy Association held, it was amazing to see, women players in the industry, sharing live lived experience, and, talking about how these policies can be, how we can inform these policies to, better to make women come in as players in this energy transition. So to my fellow women out there, the time is now. Just be bold, take the step, do that thing you want to do. That skill set, we really need it. That innovation, that idea you have, just start working on it. And also reach out for collaborations. There are a lot. It would amaze you to know that there are a lot of organizations out there that are willing to help women achieve these goals. But if you don't research or partner, you might not know about them. So let's start doing something. Let's not wait for the cake to be handed over to us. Let's come to the table. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for sharing. We definitely shouldn't wait for the cake to be handed to us. We should actually take charge and not just, complain there's no women inclusion and all that. You've shared really good informations with us, and I would say thank you so much. Quick facts. Chibuzor, thank you for sharing your story and your vision. Your work proves that clean energy isn't just about electricity, it's about equity, health, and hope. So, our viewers, how can you power change in your home or community? Drop your ideas in the comments, tag us using the hashtag #TheGreenShift. Until next time, stay rooted and keep it green. Bye for now.